And we are live. Excellent. Let me know if the music is too loud or anything else, and we'll try jump straight in, I guess. What do we have? Well, that's probably going to be too small to see as a preview, so let's throw it in here and see where we got to. I know I have to... we're working on this... we were working on this lovely swiper the last day so that we could easily change buttons in a very fancy way. I have buttons here and that wasn't good enough, so now I have them working like this, so I can go up and down based on this stuff. Now I think I need to play around with the directions on this based on if it's going left or right. And yeah, Paul, I'm glad you're here. You know, positive support as always. As you know, I'm a sensitive soul, so it's definitely helpful to have the positive support in the chat. Happy Friday. And cheers. Let's have a look. I will make sure I'm actually live on LinkedIn as well. See how we're getting on there. And yeah, perfect. We're okay. Excellent. I should be able to see everything now. Let's just play around with this. Okay, let's see where we're at, what we have to do. What I'm trying to get to here is we've gotten all this done. We have our little swiping madness, and now we're going to try and get this card setup done. I haven't even thought about how I'm going to do that, and yeah, we'll just get this working on. Maybe I'll start with the up and down on the buttons first. And as always, if you've questions, throw them in the chat. I will try to answer them. Or if you just want to mess around in the chat, talk to each other, fire ahead. If you're watching on LinkedIn, probably better off on the YouTube side of things, because that's where most people attack each other. It's a lot more entertaining. So definitely try jump in. I think I left a link in the video description on LinkedIn. And yeah, let's jump in. So here we have this, and right now if we go up, it's swiping in the right direction, but if I go down, yes, it's always coming down. Now I want to get this to work in a directional way, so let's see how we can get that to work. That is in my services section, so I'm going to go straight into my services, see where I get with that. Cheers, Ashwat. I'm probably butchering your name. I'll take that. I'll take it. Cheers. And let's see, where are we? Services. I'm just here looking at blank screen because I'm too busy off looking to the left to the comments. All right. Right now, I'm changing the direction here. So how do I change the direction? Direction has to change -1 or +1. So I need to set the panel in here. So these are the panels. Oh no, here's the buttons. Where are my buttons? There's the buttons. The buttons are probably down here. Yeah, buttons. Kind people. Stefan, you are being too nice to the people here. A lot of them can be kind, I guess. And Paul, you've been dabbling around with React, so demanding amount of folders now makes sense. Yes, it's a bit... I think if you jump into React or you're just looking from an outside, you see all the folders and you think that's just outrageous. There's no need for this amount of folders. And then you realize it's actually to keep things smaller and less complicated because you don't have to go through a giant file. Now this file is probably a bad example because it's larger than most things I would allow. Like this could be, anytime I have something like this in a pattern in a real, I say a real code base, anytime I'm working with a team and I have this kind of function that returns some JSX, I usually throw that into a separate component. It's a good smell that you can break something out is if you have other functions in your components that are returning JSX or doing some of that for you. Now I'm just kind of, I have loads of work to get through, so I'm being a little bit lazy with some of them, and I know I'm the only one that's maintaining this, so I also don't really mind. Trade-offs, I guess. Now, where are we? Buttons, I -1. So right here, I'm going to have to put in a little bit of logic. So, okay, so I'm going to have I. So on click set panel I. What I want to get is the previous value really, which is the array, and I'm gonna have to break this out a little bit, aren't I? Let's actually, well, I'm just to remind myself what comes in here. So this is going to be a copy of the panel, which is this multi-dimensional piece here. So I'm going to definitely need more than one line. I might even change this out to be a function elsewhere so it's easy to see. So set update panel, which takes, yeah, let's pull this out. So I think I'm going to get confused if I try to do this all in line. Okay, so const, we're going to say const update panel or on button press on panel select, I guess. Select equals this. And then right now we're not passing anything here. We're going to get the old array. This is the curse of using a multi. I have to actually think about this now. So in here, we're going to return this, and this should still work. I just want to make sure this still works first. Okay, fine. And we're always going -1. Const index and last panel equals array. So we'll say old panel and old panel. I like to use kind of a very functional style, so it's very obvious what I'm referring to. So now index should be the last index and the last, or actually that's the last direction, or that's the last direction, which is okay. I probably won't need that, but I will need the old panel index. So we'll say index or old index. So let's console.log out that. I just want to see. Oh, Paul, am I allowed to talk about that? Not yet. I will not be allowed to talk about that. I was actually discussed this earlier on today, and I will not be allowed to talk about that but I will be talking about it probably very early January is when it'll all become more, early January. So I'll be, you'll see some fun things happening, but some big things. It's a win for Kodu, and it's a win for anyone that's in the community as well, because it just means I'll have more time and resources for Kodu stuff, which is awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward, Paul. I really wish I could say that. I'm glad somebody actually told me earlier to be good. Okay, let's take this out, right? And let's inspect this. And in here, we have... Oh yeah, I didn't click anything. Does that not change anything? Oh yeah, I didn't update the function. On panel select should go down here. Not quite. There is a platform coming, Praveen. I can definitely talk about that. I have designs. I can probably actually, I wonder if I can dig them out on the side. I do have designs for the Kodu community platform, which is coming very soon. But that's actually not the big news. There's much bigger news than that, Praveen. I have designs already ready for the platform side of things to make a nice blog and educational platform, and a little thing to knit together the community a little better and get people more involved, as well as some other stuff. But there is something on the business side and my own personal business that has greatly impacted everything, thankfully, in the positive way for the future. So I'm really looking forward to being able to talk about that very soon. It's hard to bite my tongue. If anyone knows me personally, they'll know I'm very good or very bad at not saying things. And I'm even worse at not saying things I'm not supposed to say. So this is the worst for me. Okay, so where are we? We are looking at here. Button. On click. Button I. Okay, so I want to set in the index. Okay, so this is going to give me back the index. On panel select is going to have to get the index that we're on and the index we're going to, basically. So let's figure this out. I think I'm going to have to say index set panel. We'll figure it out. I'll break it and then we'll work it out from there. So on panel select, we'll pass that the I, which is the current index. Cool. So now I have a reference to the old or the current index that's going to be brought in. So I need to add that to the function. Yeah, Stefan, please don't. I will probably crack. I've probably already said too much, to be honest. But yeah, the reason I say it's definitely going to happen in January is because I spoke about it earlier. I spoke about it in a podcast last week, on last Thursday, and I know that podcast is out in January. So regardless, I'll have to talk about it then. I was smart enough to ask when is that podcast out, so I could talk. But yeah, it's exciting stuff for me personally and for the things I can do. Let's take this old index, old panel. We're getting the index, which is here. Let's see what happens now. If I change this, 3 and 1, 1 and 3, 3 and 0. Okay, so now I have the old index, which is 3, and then 0, So what I want to do is, if the old index is less than I, we want to say -1. I'm not even going to think about this, but we'll just say or 1. Okay, let's see what happens now. Okay, so it's going the wrong way. So I can just say greater than. Nice. So now when I go up, the card comes in. And when I go down, the card comes left. Cool. So now it's starting to look slick there, and I can still swipe them up. Everything should be working. I do still have this. Now let's see. I just want to get this key thing fixed as well, because that's been annoying me. I should have done that. So there's 2 places. Services doesn't have a key. And the blog doesn't have a key. So let's fix up those things as well. And I don't need this, so I'll just leave that there. Okay, working. As good as I'm going to get it for now. And actually, this is probably, let me zoom in, because I forgot. Make sure if you can't see things in the chat, just to tell me to zoom in, because I often forget. I'm looking at it on a big screen. I don't know what size screen everyone else has. So right now, when we have our buttons, okay, so on this we're mapping. You can't give a fragment, can you? Probably can't give a fragment a key. So I'll have to make this div, and I'll say the key is equal to the item dot title. That should get rid of one of the warnings if I refresh. Or not. Now I have 2. On here, oh yes, there is supposed to be an image there. That's correct. Nice one, Stefan. Does the text in the left card be more centrally? Ah, yes. So let's look at this. This is something Jay pointed out last week as well. I'm actually left some space here to put this in. So I'm going to put this in as well, so it doesn't look as weird. And next time, I'll probably do this offline, just so it's not boring to watch as well. Let's can I export this? Export. Let's export this. You missed a week. Yeah, last week, Paul, Jay jumped on and helped me out a couple of bits, especially the animating part. As you can imagine, my brain was getting a bit confused with all of this and that. So Jay jumped on and we were messing with this for about an hour and talking absolute poop. Well, he was on. It was pretty good. So yeah, definitely good fun. Right, so the rendered meta of services should have a key. Oh, okay. So this isn't going to work right now because all the titles could actually be the same. Personal and probing questions. Yeah, exactly. Just ask personal and probing questions. What could go wrong? Yeah, Jay's an excellent dude. Have great time for him. Super knowledgeable. I always learn something when I talk to him as well, which is, you know, they're the kind of people you want around you, really. Is once you can talk to people and learn from them, like it's a blessing, really. So what am I looking for? I am going to change definition 2. And oh no, this is going to be definition 1 then. And this is going to be definition 0. So I have unique headings. Let's refresh this. Hopefully. Okay. Now, services also has another. So what that is in here. I also have the buttons without rendering without a thing. So key should be button. No. Okay, that's working. Where else am I using map? Details.map. Okay. Let's just say key equals point. And that's going to break because I have duplicate points. I'm pretty sure I do anyway. No, I might not actually. So let's refresh that. All right, now we're only back down to the blog because I haven't put a key on these ones. These are a bit off as well. I should definitely fix them. So let's jump into the blog section and fix the keys there. So we have the map and we will say the key is equal to the, I'll say the slug because that has to be unique. Aha, got rid of those warnings at least, thankfully. Nice one. Just going to, 1 second. Just want to make sure. I just want to share a link into the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, make sure you jump into that as well. It's great fun. Lots of crazy people in there, and it's always interesting. Where are my videos? Going live. Discord. Sorry, this is on the off screen. Streaming. Just seeing if that works. Bum bum bum. Excellent. Okay, we're back. Let's close this for a moment. I don't think we'll need it for a second. Let's get this picture in to product planning. So just so I don't have to go to my file system, I'm also going to take this down. Where are my images? Blog bottom. I love how I've been so creative with all these things. Is there... Let's just throw this in here. Beautiful. Product planning. So I'm just going to call this pp.png since it's the product planning stuff. And we can then add a little image tag and we're going to absolutely position that on the blog. Or not the blog, the services, isn't it? And this is an excellent chance to look for, I'm going to have to look for this, Next.js image. Just to make sure I know what way I'm importing it. So let's bring in the image from Next.js so we can optimize that. And in the image down here, it's the left-hand side. So let's see how, where's the panel? Display panel. Okay, left-hand panel. In reality, I should probably have a different image for each of these panels. So I'll probably get some illustrations done up for each of the panels to look a little bit different. But yeah. So I'll just use the same one for now. Solid services. So that is, use a source. Okay, the summary container. We probably want that in there. image source equals whichever. Source is going to equal, where are we on this folder? We're going to say slash images slash pp.png, and for the moment we'll say height equals 150, and we'll say the same for the width will be equal to 200. Actually, we'll just put for the moment just to see if it shows up. Okay, so I must start with a relative path. Yeah, it's starting to get there, Paul, isn't it? Another Paul. Kintz is also a Paul Topman, so you can fight over who can be called Paul, I guess. Okay, so this is meant to be up here. So if I could just hold this here for the rest of the video, that'd be nice. So let's get that working. So the summary container is... let's see, the summary container for here, or services container. Do I even have anything? Yeah. Position, relative. I know, Danny. Who would listen to me? It's nearly as bad as listening to you. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, I feel so damn motivated. I listen to Danny again. He's getting me up out of bed in the morning as he sends a motivating tweet as he gets up in the middle of the night to pee. I don't know how he does that. I definitely don't feel like motivating people in the middle of my journey to pee at night. Where am I looking? Service.js. So we have... Please just stay up there. We are going to make... We're going to have to add a class to this. Class name is going to be styles dot corner image, and then we'll take in that corner image and Chris Dixon's here as well. Gee, look, everyone's here now at the moment. Great to have you here. Just play Danny's video while somebody is sleeping. Position is going to be absolute, and we'll say top 0, left 0. And obviously, I have a separate container. So I'm guessing that the service container is the outside, and it's actually inside service that I want this to be. I don't even know. I just know how bad I am at doing these kind of things. So this position relative should be in here. And then if I jump back into the code, and Chris Dixon is launching... When are you launching your new Vue 3 course, Chris? Is that Friday or next Friday? Or when are you doing it? I might get you on when you to talk about the new course and the course creation. Very interested. Obviously, this setup here actually is because of Chris Dixon. He told me how he was making his courses. I really like the audio. So it's an interesting, like, super talented, knowledgeable guy. So I definitely would love to get Chris on again to chat about how he made the course, what went wrong, I suppose, because I know you wanted to get it sooner as well, Chris. But, you know, the amount of work I'm sure you're after putting into this to get this right is unbelievable. So I hope it goes really well. Let's have a look. In the CSS, or where is my image? Yeah, I'm going to drop this in to here. Ah, it's in the summary. That makes more sense. I'm here in the service. Next Friday, Friday 4th. Bookmark that. If you're looking to learn Vue, Chris Dixon's unbelievable Vue 3 course is coming out on Friday. At least it wasn't Friday the 13th, you know? You waited to get away from that. So it's not service, it's summary that the corner image is meant to be in. And position, relative. Okay. Kind of what I wanted, I guess. Where is my corner image? Why did that do that? I don't know, Niall. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I'd love to even just do an update video with you, Chris. Like, talk about what's new and what's changed between Vue 2 and Vue 3. So, as an update, because obviously I don't really do Vue, so I'd rather have somebody knowledgeable on it rather than me reading an update. Get somebody like yourself on to talk about the updates in Vue. It'd be much better than me pretending and being like, yeah, you know, it's not quite React, but this update's here. Because that's exactly what happened. Okay, so corner image, position absolute. Why is that doing that? Let's inspect this. If we can close this here. Okay. Danny, I'm sure she taught you this one. This is probably going to be a rude one. If you use 2 fingers and you swipe on the trackpad, or if you have one of these magic mice, you can swipe 2 fingers and it does that little swipe across. But yeah, 2 fingers is the magic, basically. Oh, I should really grow up. I never will. Don't worry. And yeah, okay, so that's here. Let's inspect this. Okay, so I want, if I remove, oh dang, where's that padding bottom coming from? 3 fingers. Is it still a case of React is greater than Vue? Not at all, Paul. I started React back in version 0 point something. I found one of my first projects I did recently enough when I was doing some searching through old projects. So for me, Vue and React, depending on what you're comfortable with or what style of programming you like, there's no, like, I would say there's a lot of more benefits to using something like Vue because you get more things out of the box for you, whereas I like to go a bit rogue and add in new toys all the time. So for something like React has no kind of guidelines on what you should do for like routing and things like that, which is a blessing and a curse because it means I can go off the rails very easily and pick something very bad for it and screw everything up, which I tend to do a lot. But with Vue, you have your router and everything else as well. So it keeps teams on the same guidelines and it stops a lot of bike shedding, I find, whenever you have those kind of decisions made out of the box for you. So if you're trying to get a team on board and the same decisions and everything without fighting every 10 minutes, having something like Vue with some guidelines on how you should do certain things is actually very helpful. Let's see. So I have screwed this up somehow and I need to figure out why. So if anyone else can tell me, and I think it might be because I'm using this next image, that things might be working a bit weird. So I might change this to a normal image tag for a minute to see if it's something to do with the image. Yeah, my Christmas tree drawing was hilarious. Come on, like if you got the biggest part of it, it was the Christmas tree. Yeah, exactly, Danny. Right tool for right job. Or if you just want to be a prick, just say one of them is way better than the other and give no reasons. Just say it is. And if anyone contradicts you, just say nah. And that's enough. Just like just be annoying. I'm being diplomatic while Chris is in the chat. We can all say they're even, because I want to have Chris back on because he is obviously very knowledgeable with this stuff. But yeah, I suppose like they're both doing similar jobs, so that's what makes it very difficult to pick one. Okay, corner image is not working as expected. So do I move this up one? Let me throw this into here. Summary container. Oh, I did it again. Okay, so if that's there, left 0, right. Yeah, pick Svelte. Yeah, Praveen, you can just leave, to be honest. No, I'd love to. I haven't tried Svelte. It looks awesome. I love the fact that that compiles just down straight to, like, that's again, Svelte probably for optimizations. Svelte is going to win again. Like I said, there's just each of them is going to come with a trade-off. You know, the problem with Svelte is it's not React, you know, so that's an obvious downside. Summary container. I'm gonna say position relative here. Okay, so the summary container is actually out further than I thought. And then the summary here itself. Stefan is trumping things. And believe it or not, when I started to learn React was so I could land a job. And I literally looked, I said, what's paying a lot? And I started saying, like, people are starting to look for React developers and things. I would definitely just say, check the job market, see what they're hiring for locally. And like, if you think you can get a job easier by learning something, I think that's a very valuable thing. Because you could go and learn something obscure like Haskell and find the 1 or 2 jobs that are being advertised in your area and get paid tons because it's obscure. But then it's hard to find those jobs. So yeah, maybe not picking obscure technologies is a good idea unless you want to be looking after antiques and things. So yeah, that's how I made my decision to learn React originally, was just looking for what's needed in the job market and going from there. This is really annoying me that I can't figure why. Okay, so that container is there. And that's the image, services. Okay, and then padding is what's screwing me up. So exactly, Danny. Believe it or not, my girlfriend is in a coding bootcamp thing at the moment, and she's learning Vue. So like they're pushing that here as well. That's what they're teaching ahead of React in the schools here, is Vue, because that's what's up and coming as well. And there's a reason. You know, they're not picking out, like, no bootcamp is going to start picking obscure technologies that's not going to leave their people unemployed, because that makes them look terrible. So yeah, it's definitely something to watch. Right, I'm going off on tangents here. Let's have a look. Let's take the summary and I'm going to take away the padding for a second. Add in the corner image into that. So there's that tiny now. Well, I might actually need the let's say, so that's 100. I'm gonna actually comment this out so I remember what I had. Padding is going to be 0.40 pixels. Okay, so we have the padding where we want it, and then in the services, let's, our summary, we're going to drop this in here. Beautiful. Okay, so that's a little bit better. Now I can, so that's what it was. It was the padding that was throwing everything here. So I added that there. So I'll say top minus 50 pixels. That's not working as far as I imagined. And left minus 50 pixels. That's not working as I expected at all. Let's have a look. See what's going on here. Oh, maybe I just need to do this position relative. Huh. This is really trolling me, and it shouldn't. This should have been the easy thing to do. I was just like, yeah, let's top. Oh, okay. So why is that not? What is given that this? Oh, maybe do I refresh this and it might work? No. Is that element? The element itself has this, so maybe I can't use the image tag. So if I change this to image, we'll say, yeah, that works the way I thought it would. So that must be a weird thing with the new image tag. So that's what's been throwing me, is it has its own set of absolute positions to make it work as with the optimizations. So what I'm going to do then is change this down to, say, 120 and 150. Maybe turn this up to 160. And I might just put this in its own container, which will be able to move it around a bit. So I'm going to say class name is equal to styles dot corner image container. Just see if I can get this working as expected with the new optimizations in there, because that's really annoying if I can't. And then we'll say dot corner image container, and we'll take all of this. And now that's amazing. Okay, so that will work that way. So we don't even need the corner image style anymore. We'll just leave that be whatever it was. So we can just take that off. And then back in here, we can add in some of this padding again. So I'm going to say 40 on 40, 40. Is 40 all around enough? Let's check. If I had two paddings. Nice. Okay, so let's have a look here. What width is that meant to be? That's meant to be 245 by 155. So let's change it to that. 245 by 155. $155. And if we jump in, that's way too big. So, or is it? Is that too big? Let's have a look. Yeah, I think I just need to add a bit more spacing, to be honest. So I'm going to say on the services, let's add in 40. I'm going to change this to 60 on the sides, and we're going to say 80 pixels and then 60 pixels. So I'm going to give it a little bit more padding on the top. That looks better now, doesn't it? I don't know what gaps it meant to be in here. Can I just get it? I'm going to cheat. Let's draw. Well, that was right. It was 60. Nice. And the left is off, isn't it? Yeah, so it shouldn't be off so much on the left. So I'm going to say left is 30. Beautiful. And I'm going to add a little bit more padding to the top as well. So let's put that all the way up to 100. And now it is looking as I expected. Great. Okay, so now we can swipe up, swipe down. I need to get new illustrations for all of each side of these. So let's jump in. Today we'll try finish off, or at least get a good start on. This time is flying already. Let's try and get these cards in and started. So I might just steal one of the icons, get one of the cards, and build this up. So how we work. And somebody pointed out to me the other day that I had recommendation spelled wrong, I think. It is REC. How do I spell recommendation? Recommendation. Did I spell it wrong? I love the way I have to Google this. Recommendation. Did I spell this wrong? Yeah, that wasn't found, so I definitely... Yeah, I spelled it right. I forgot name. I love the way I spelled it right up there. So let's look for it. Oh, how badly did I spell it? I can't even... blog. Ah. Nice. Okay. So I spelled it really badly. I couldn't even misspell it as badly as I did before. And then jump up into the cards. So what we call the next section? How we work. I'm going to call this close this off so it's new folder, how we work, and let's put in a new file, how we work.js, and a new file of how we work.module.css. So if anyone's interested, I am working on a full crash course or introduction. It'll be a free course I'll put up in the next few weeks on my YouTube channel for getting started with Next.js, and a full introduction so you can see why I'm doing weird things like adding modules and everything else. And then, isn't it? Okay, so we need to export default function. This is the one I always forget is with. Well, so in Next.js, you always have to export a default function. It's just one of those things. So I call this how we work. And let's return a div that says how we work for the moment. And what way do I import this stuff again? We import the stuff as styles again. Import styles from how we work.module.css. And then we are good. Okay, so now I'm going to export that. Export default as how we work from, I hate the way that does that. I don't know what plugin I have that does that, but from how we work and how we work. So everything's still working here. I haven't messed up the export just yet. And let's jump into the app.js or index.js, and that's where I'm throwing everything so far. Container intro. I think at this stage I can probably get rid of that. So how we work. We're not using these anymore, so let's get rid of them. And let's throw in this how we work. Now, moment of truth. How we work. Beautiful. I hopefully spelled that right this time. Let's steal some of, I just want to have a look and see how I've styled, say, this. So what is my container? Yeah, I'm going to probably need this as well. Yeah, I'm going to use this because I will be making the cards up here. So let's start getting that out. And how we work. Say another 350 pixels. I could use the repeat property. I just don't because for whatever reason it always breaks on me. .container. It's going to be display flex. No, it's actually not. We're going to say height. We'll say 1000 pixels for the moment and give this a border of 1 pixel solid red. So I can actually see what's going on here. And I'm pretending I've somehow put these in. I didn't touch anything. Ah, and Jay is here to derail it. A couple of people have been knocking into the derail stuff as well. It's important. Jump in and derail stuff. In fact, I wonder if I can just get everyone on to annoy me while I'm on this. I should probably just tweet out the StreamYard link and see who jumps on. Yeah, I'm actually making progress. Look, it goes up as expected and down. That's loads of progress today. I even got that image that was annoying people for the white space. So I class this as a giant win. I'm going to do that now, Danny. You can come on and derail me if you want. Hold on, I'll bring Danny on so he can wake me up at 7 in the evening. Let's see. Bum, bum. bum, bum, bum. What am I trying to do? Oh, there's loads of people. What am I trying to do? I literally have just started a new section, Jay. So... Oh, gee, everyone... Oh, and look, Danny is here already. Oh, excellent.
Hello, hello!
Oh,
I'm only
God,
here...
Gee, that is way too loud. What time is it there, Danny? Because it's 7 in the evening here, so
It's
you're way
1
too
p.m.
peppy. Yeah,
It's
so
1 p.m.
like you've probably just had your second coffee or something, have you?
Just had lunch. I'm only here so I have video proof that Neil likes me and he can no longer avoid me. And that's it. Now I have all the proof that I need. I just took a screenshot. It is over.
I'm going to say it was photoshopped and it never happened. But nobody will believe that. We've seen your photoshopping.
Yeah.
In fairness.
Stefan, what's going on, buddy?
Excellent. What have you been playing with Next.js at all, Danny?
Only thing I've been playing with, I played with it for like 1 day. That was it. And then I started like learning Vue just so I can play with Next.js because of Debbie O'Brien. Who
Debbie's
is
awesome.
She's phenomenal. And what's funny is like I've been a fan of her even though I never learned Vue. So I was like, I might as well just learn this so I can at least know what the hell she's talking about when she's giving these talks. So now I know a little bit of it. But for my background, honestly, my stack originally was Java and Angular. And so that's what I've used in my career. But now we're rewriting our code base to React and Go. So that is what I'm learning now. That's the only reason why I've only just touched Next.js to see what all the hype was about. But yeah, I'm really digging it. I love React.
Yeah, no, in fairness,
especially after Angular.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an awesome technology. In fairness, I always just like to annoy people and pretend I hate all other frameworks, just so I don't get called out for not knowing them.
Yeah, honestly, like there's so many, and I think that's one thing about development is, and I talk about this all the time, like development is a lifelong journey of learning, right? So no matter what you learn, there's something new that's going to pop up. There's a new flavor of the week. I mean, it's just nonstop. Like, and that's kind of what's cool about it too, is you've got so much that you can learn. You've got so many tools. And that's why I love every single language, every single framework. I just care that I'm using the right tool to solve the problem. And I'll learn whatever is necessary, especially if there's a paycheck behind it. So if you put a paycheck in front of it, I'll learn whatever you want me to learn.
I always say that to people, like everyone, I've gotten asked a few times recently, it's like, why did you start coding? And I was like, I Googled, what's the best paying job without a degree? And that's how I landed here.
There you go. It works. So, like, what are you trying to achieve with this whole website?
This is my business site. So I am just trying to try out Next.js. Oh no! Oh, Jay's telling me I think you've made your life harder with the way you've done these waves potentially. So I got Jay on last week to help me out with this animation part. So I've got this really quirky, nice. See the way I can just click the buttons, but I decided while I was doing it, it would be nicer if I could swipe it as well. So Jay came on and helped me with that. I was also asking him about these waves. You notice I have waves everywhere. Yeah. So Jay, how am I? Do you want to jump on as well, Jay, and explain to me how we could do these waves better?
Jay, my dude, he's like the CSS god, dude. Like his stuff.
Sure.
And by the way, little plug, Jay has a CSS book. Like y'all need to pick that up, man. Like if you're in this chat, check out his CSS book. It is next level greatness.
Yeah, because Jay actually was sending me links during the week. I think it was private in the sense of I don't only do CSS. I know you don't, Jay. Don't worry. Oh, actually, you've done what I wanted to get Jay to show me recently, or what he's done, which was crazy cool, is the Electron. Did you see the desktop app he built with Electron, or the what was it? The Git tool that he did, so you can draw pixel art as your Git history. So you could just say like hello in your Git history or hire me in your Git history. So it was
I didn't see that.
Cool.
That's sick.
That's sick. I might actually get that up in a second when I get Jay on here as well, because it's outrageous.
I mean, to be honest, and I've said this for a long time, right? Like Jay, in my opinion, Jay should be one of those accounts with like 100,000 subscribers because of the stuff that he does.
No offense to you, Danny, but like as a tech developer, like he should be leagues ahead of you.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome 100%. I just talk shit. Like there should be no reason why my talking exceeds. Like this dude made a button that turns into a rocket that goes into space and does some stuff. Like that's nuts. Jay, my boy.
Danny's very loud for our time of the evening, Jay. So.
Well, I thought I'd bring the hype, Now you're going to start coding for the next 4 hours, and you don't need any coffee because of this conversation.
I need better marketing.
Better marketing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is, because a lot of people only do see you as the CSS wizard. And I think it's also, I often say to people, because people ask me, why do I do so much front-end stuff on YouTube rather than like Node or anything else? And I said, well, it's a very nice thing to do visually. Like it's very hard to make a video of a server running and try and make it shiny.
There's one other thing too with that, and I try to tell people this. I just had this talk. This is my third live stream of the day, by the way. So like this is how much I love you. I'm already tired from the other two, and I was like, all right, I'm just come on here and be hyped for Niall and get him through this time, right?
This is you tired.
But like when you reward the content that you want to see, meaning you will watch the content you want to see. When people put out Java videos, it's getting like 500 views, 1,000 views. But if you put out a JavaScript video, it's getting millions. So when you're doing that, what do you think the incentive is? Is the incentive to show you how to run some data in the back end? Or is the incentive to show you how to do a button in JavaScript or a responsive navbar? You reward the content you want to see. So if you want to see more backend stuff, more data stuff, you need to reward those people with your views and support that content. But for example, prime example actually, what's his name? Even Travis C. Media, when I was talking to him, he was like, yeah, the content that I get the most views. And when I was talking to David, he's like, the content that gets the most views is the simple stuff, like the nav bar, the responsive website. Like, no one wants to see that data stuff, at least not here. They want to get...
Dev, we were talking to recently, Danny, you were chatting with him with me as well, and he said the exact same thing. He's like, just do a button with some hover effects, and everyone loves it. Okay.
Yeah. I think when it comes to
sure you see that as well, Jay. What is your most successful piece that you've done?
As in terms of like, this just goes back to like, I don't know, people pigeonhole me as just CSS.
Yeah, but it's like it's what people can see. That's the problem.
Probably one of the most popular things. I don't know. It's probably this. I'll paste it in the chat. That's React and SVG, but people look at it and go, "Oh, it's CSS."
Where did you post on?
Blocked. Hold on, let me.
Yeah,
I probably have.
Post it
because if you put it in the chat, because usually what you get is a lot of spam bots putting in porn links. So I tend to just turn off the.
Is that your most viewed thing, Jay?
It's probably the most tweeted thing.
Oh wow.
Let me have a look. Video.
This is cool though.
Take this.
A bunch of the 3D stuff maybe, but yeah, like it's funny to think because like I get like pinged like, oh, it's the CSS guy, but like at work, like what I'm doing at the moment. So my client at the moment, it's all TypeScript, React, like frame emotion stuff for a very well-known brand, I guess.
I love having to tiptoe around this stuff as well.
Yeah,
it's difficult. I was just saying, like, I got huge news last week, and I can't talk about it until January. So it's killing me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this being released, so I can be like, I built that.
Yeah, no, it's going to be awesome. Jay, you were saying I'm doing this. Why can't I see that link you sent me. Can you send that to me
I
on
put it in the
Discord?
StreamYard and I put it on the YouTube.
Oh, okay. Really? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. It's that tab that I always forget about. Never mind.
Yeah, this has become my ritual now. Every Friday when I get off work, I'm like, oh, I'll just go derail Niall's stream, see what he's doing.
Oh,
Need some downtime.
this is. You had a video on your Twitter the other day of this little girl losing her shit over this button, and I loved it. It was the most adorable thing ever, where this kid is just absolutely loving this. Like, she's losing it. It's so good.
I think that's why. I think.
Yeah,
I like building, because when I get messages from people like, "Oh, my kid loved this," like.
Yeah, that's
so
unbelievable
worth it.
feedback, really.
But I don't know. That's probably one of the most viewed things. I don't know. There's some other stuff I don't really keep. I make stuff and then I don't market it. That's like the issue, I guess. So like Christmas is coming, right? So I've got like loads of like these sorts of things, but people probably don't even know that I do like free.js or anything like that. So I think if there's a tech, I've probably.
What's the name of the Git thing you did?
Vincent Van Git.
I was like, I'm not gonna pretend I know the name, because I remember it was just so fancy and everything else. It was just like.
To be fair, it wasn't. I don't even know why I called it that. I think it just.
Well, the link that you just sent, it's not working for me.
The CodePen one?
Yeah, there's no HTML or anything in there.
Oh, what have I done to it?
There's no HTML, it's correct. But there's everything else. Look, there is no HTML. It's bugged. It's just there.
It shouldn't need it because it's just a canvas, but let me double check.
Yeah, because right now I can't get anything to work.
This is why you save everything to GitHub, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just check. It'll be something silly like the canvas doesn't exist or something. It's cool when it works.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the kind of thing with live demos, right? Like, if it all worked, did you really do a live demo? I feel like you have to have some kind of issue somewhere when you're trying to show something off.
Yeah, for sure. And like Jay has to be like, I've watched some of his streams, and you just spend a ridiculous. Like, I think it was your Snorlax stream. I was like, this guy is insane. That was the one that I was like, no, you're just insane because of all the curves and shapes and just watching you slowly layer them on top of each other.
Yeah, I don't.
It's insane.
You know, it's kind of weird though, because that CSS stuff, like, people seem to like the art or illustration stuff, but oh man, you get sick of it. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly, I don't know how you do all that art because it takes forever, man. I've seen some of your streams, dude. Like, it takes just so damn long to do something.
What was I going to annoy you about, Jay? You were saying I'm probably doing these borders terribly. I'm paraphrasing, but
yeah, I didn't think terribly. I think that's a bit harsh. But
you said I'm stupid and I should feel stupid. I think they were the words.
Do you know what, that pen that I shared the link, that's really annoying because I opened this when I was writing my smashing article and it worked, and now it doesn't work. And nothing has changed between. It must just be like a versioning thing or
wow,
something in the same. Basically, what happens with that is it loads up a bauble, a Christmas bauble, like made with free.js, and you can rotate it and like configure it.
Oh wow.
I'll have to fix it. But yeah, these waves. So like you said before, it was an issue of trying to match up the wave with the background, right?
Yeah. So like what I've been doing is, and you can see exactly what I was doing here. I've been just going along and cutting out shapes.
And which bits have you been using?
The white bits to make this, really. You know,
So,
like say this is just a block. So if let's go back over to the preview. So this is just a square, and you can literally see this is an SVG overlay here, and this is an SVG overlay. You're going to learn some curvature now, Danny. You're going to learn how to make some weird looking angles.
I mean, honestly, I could use all the help in the design area because that's the one area I suck in. So, like,
yeah,
I'm not good at design.
You know when we were chatting the other day and I said, oh, if you've been on the Starling like bank site and they have this cool little wave thing, I was going to throw a video together for this. But I don't know if you can get to the login. Starling, you know, like Monzo. And
Starling Bank. Yeah, sorry.
Praveen said, how can I let them work? I don't want to derail the whole thing. I just wanted to join for a couple minutes.
Yeah, and I think if you go to like login or something, I don't know if you'll be able to because it will probably ask for.
Wow, that navbar's cool.
Yeah, so this is what I was on about.
Oh, Dave whooped my ass here. This is way cooler.
Yeah, but you can make this. So this take about 5 minutes to make, honestly.
Okay, I'm trusting you here. Let's do this.
So I can tell you exactly how that works. So without looking at it, so it's just 2 divs, right? A white one and a dark blue one. Hop into Inkscape or something, draw a rectangle, add some points along the top, pull them down so you build a wave, export that, create 3 divs, create one that's 200% high, one that's 300% high, set the opacities, and then do an animation at different speeds, and you'll get that effect.
That's cool as hell.
Okay. So what they're just doing is, are these just the same animations, just different timings?
Yep, and different sizes. So if you check the containers, one will be like probably 200 VH, one will be like 250 VH. But because you're stretching the SVG, it gives different waves, and then you just set different opacities, so it looks
That's smart.
Yeah.
So
I saw this when I come on the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I'll make that." But I just haven't made it yet.
Very cool.
I was too busy doing that framer example for you.
Yeah, I haven't pulled this one out yet because I finally got that working properly. So I was like, I'll leave that for a week before I lose another 2 hours on that.
Oh man, I nearly pulled my hair out today with it.
I'm gonna make that.
Weird. Yeah, this is cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so damn cool.
It's
so simple and so cool.
Like,
so these are the 3 divs you were saying, and this is just like a background image.
Yeah, if you hover over,
look at that, Danny. That's all it is.
That's
just
nuts.
a background image, and then you just
a little background. Let me. Can I? Oh, I can't. I zoom in too much.
No, it's fine. I zoomed in my screen so I could see it. So, but that's wild. That's
very
smart.
It's
so simple.
That's what I should be doing.
Easy peasy.
And what's funny is it's so like looking at the page. It's just a white section, dark section, but that little thing just gives it such a pop. And even though it's like the simplest thing in the world, it makes that page, man, that's awesome. So whoever did that was so slick.
So yeah, just 3 divs. So let's see. Let's try and update one of these then to do this. So are you saying just grab something?
I don't know how you do it in Figma, but
no, that's okay. So I can make an SVG in here. Is that what I need, or is it just?
How I would do this is, so if I was doing this in Inkscape, I don't know how you do it in Figma, but if you drew a rectangle.
Do you want, like, you can send that over to me because you can, like, I can let you share your screen.
All right, fellas, I got to jump off. I got to do something with my wife.
No worries, Danny.
But this was fun, man. Thank you.
Idea and quickly make a call.
I love seeing you, man. We got to talk some more. We need to do a live stream together, man.
We should.
I don't know what it'd be about because you're on like another wavelength and level than I am, but we'll figure it out. Maybe like CSS art for dummies, and then I could be the dummy.
No, we can do anything. We can do anything. It doesn't have to be CSS. It can be.
Yeah. I mean, do you do Java? I don't know what we do Java or JavaScript.
You know what? I started with Java, but you'd be teaching me now.
I mean, right now I'm doing React, so we could do some JavaScript stuff. I just did a video that is doing pretty well. I did 3 JavaScript programs in less than 1 hour, like a dev speedrun kind of thing. But it was like a progression from like easiest to middle to harder. Maybe we could do something like that for beginners or something.
Yeah, I do a lot of React stuff as well. That's well, like I say, that's what I do for work. So I don't really share a lot of React stuff.
Yeah,
will be, but
we'll do it. I'll talk to you, Jay, and we'll do something.
Yeah, do it.
All right,
brother.
Anytime.
All right, Neil. Thank you for having me. I love you both, man. Thank you.
See you soon, Danny. Excellent. Okay, so
I will
do you want to
create-
share your screen or?
I can create an SVG for you and ping it to you. It will take me like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you wanted to show that process.
How could I do this? I'm not really on the right screen for it.
Yeah, can you share like? I think you're able to share like a window.
Yeah, it would be okay, but Inkscape's an absolute nightmare because it's
Okay.
because it's on X11. I've not upgraded to the new one, so it's
No worries. Then don't worry. If you want to even
Let me
send
just
it
ping you
over,
the
we can talk
SVG.
through it. Then.
I've done it quite a few times on stream. Basically, because I don't know if you can do it in Figma.
Well, you can get SVGs, all right.
But you know when you create the rectangle, can you like
okay, so
add? Can you insert points along a path?
So if I do this,
Yeah, and then basically, are you able to insert points along a path? Like, yeah, because you're just drawing another line. So this is why Inkscape or something, you'd be better off learning how to use that because you'll be able to make interesting shapes. So like here, I can just all I'm doing in Inkscape is I'm just
see, this is just pulling down different points. You can see here what I'm.
So how cool do you want it? Oh, that's kind of what you do, but you just want to insert like a bunch of points.
I need another point or another 2 points, don't I?
Yeah.
So what like I normally do is like I might make a rectangle out of the pen tool.
And so yeah, that's the trick. You see, how kind of tall are you doing them?
Good question. How high is this?
If you give me a rough height, I'll just create a wave for you now.
150, I think.
Right. So
is that 150?
It won't matter too much because you can just scale it anyway. But
yeah, 200 high. I think it really.
Okay, so this one.
If you want to pick something like the white here, because these are the ones that are probably the easiest ones to start with, the bottoms and tops.
So all I do in Inkscape, and obviously I can't show you it, but I'll tell you how I do it. With like actual SVG illustration tools, you get much more powerful like tools for using paths.
Yeah.
So like all I have to do here is I've created a rectangle and then I convert it to a path, which gives you the nodes. And then I just select 2 nodes. So I'm selecting the top and the top 2 corners. And then there's just a button that just says insert new nodes. So every time you insert one, it inserts one between each node. So it will go like 2 to 3 to 5 to 10. Like it will just keep inserting them. And then all I do is just take every alternate one and drag them down by like, I don't know, take them down a fair bit.
So I'm trying to visually show people kind of what you're talking about as well.
I should just GIF it really at some point and show people. And then all you do is Inkscape just has this button where you can just take all those nodes and then just make them auto smooth. So that just gives you a wave. And then all I have to do.
Nice. Framer motion also makes this easy. Framer motion, believe it or not, Toxic, I am actually using Framer motion or is it Framer? It is Framer motion that we're using, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just confused. I was like, is that like, I never know if it's like their design tool or their developer stuff.
We will be there in a second. This is the quirk of Inkscape. So when you're like on multi-monitor, sometimes you can't open the document properties window.
Excellent. So that's
on X11. So like I have like multiple screens and it just so now I've opened it, but I can't see it until I do like expose to reveal everything. And then I can't see it still. Brilliant.
So what I have so far is.
Although actually, they're not even. Were they using SVG? No, they were using.
They were using a PNG.
So that's kind of what you would do, what you're doing there, but just to create a completely uniform one. This is obviously
A completely uniform one.
Yeah. So as long as you have the corners, and then you can obviously distort it however you like. So like you could use skews.
Oh, I get you. Yeah. So I'm just manually touching this, but you're saying make it uniform so that it moves and that the width is doing the work rather than.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's just going to be easier. I will just create a code pen of it.
Is that beer or a soft drink? This one is. What am I on? I always get asked. I always show the Irish beers I'm drinking on stream because support local.
You're not just drinking Mega Mini powder.
No, that's not what we just drink. That's only on Sundays. That's breakfast, Jay. Don't be so racist. Yeah, Whiplash Jupiters. Alex Laws. He's a really good brewer here in Ireland. He used to, but back in my craft beer days or selling craft beer, that fella used to bring me in some of his own home brews into the shop. And now he has his own brewery here in Dublin. So that's awesome. I love just, like I said, he a guy teaching himself how to brew and he owns his own brewery now. So even in that game, there's bandits like us, I guess, where we're always just learning off the internet and seeing what we can make with it. You're getting. Paul's asking. You need to be. You only have monsters, don't you? That's your poison, really.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah.
That means I can have one.
Yeah, exactly.
It means we're in the game today.
Or if you're Danny, you don't need anything. Apparently, your coffee is cocaine enough.
I broke protocol today. I've had 2 coffees.
And you had your eggs for breakfast?
Nah. Slacking.
You're going to get weak. That top half's going to get weak on you, Jay.
It already is. This lockdown's been killer. Do you know what I don't know if you saw, but a few weeks ago, like, I joked about dev sleeves and compression sleeves because I saw something about e-gamers, and then I actually ended up buying some compression sleeves, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to give that a go, and they're actually really good, so I take it all
compression
back.
Sleeves?
Yeah, so when my arms start, like, because obviously I'm just sitting now, I'm not really getting out and doing anything, so I just whip these on, put them on my arm, and they feel good. Like,
nice.
So, yeah,
I could probably use that for my ankles, to be honest. My ankles are ruined.
They're pretty decent. I thought it'd be just complete farce, but it's actually pretty good. So
Chris is asking, are you trying to wave the top of the rectangle at multiple points? I am, but I think Jay is giving me a better one in a second, and I'm going to use that, and he's going to tell me what I'm going to do with it. So I'm going to try and create this sort of effect as one of the things. Yeah, we're really going off the rails. This was not something I even imagined doing for the site at all, of having something as cool as this. So, yeah, we're going to try have something like this, Chris.
Sorry, I'm just running it through the optimizer.
What's the optimizer you use?
I use Jake Archibald's SVG OMG. So, like, for instance, I had a 939 byte SVG, and that takes it down to 192 bytes.
Wow! Oh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wait, can you ping me that link so I can put it into the chat as well? Because that's a very useful.
Yeah, this is only and this isn't even a particularly complicated SVG. So, like, when you do like some of my actual work. So like Vincent van Gogh, the animation when he's typing, like that's quite big. That would have gone from like 400k to like 100 or something silly. I don't know. That's crazy, but it would significantly reduce it by like 50%. I do have weights at home. 18s. That's what I have at home. I don't know where they are.
And then you just get bored and break walls with a sledgehammer then as well.
Yeah, that's how I ended up with an extended kitchen. True story. True story.
I remember that was being a random thing. You're like, yeah, just wanted to see what it would look like, so I started.
I put a hole through, stuck my head in, and thought, yeah, that's all right. So I did the rest of the wall.
Excellent.
It's got to be done.
Right, that's that.
18s, are they pink? I'll get them. I'll show you.
Getting grilled. Fabian, welcome. So I'm throwing that into the chat. This is the optimization tool that Jay uses for...
Oh, that's tough. Okay, 18s.
We'll get Paul on now and see what he can do with his 18s.
It's just sitting there wrecking.
Right. I'm here just trying to clean up things while you're making that.
Yeah, I stumped myself because I copied the link for you and then lost the SVG code. So I've just gone back to grab it.
Right, I'm just gonna display flex and flex direction column. And we'll say justify content center and align items center. Beautiful. And got title P is going to be text align. Get initial props with TypeScript. Okay, how do you use get initial props with TypeScript to get user agent considering that my component is a React functional component? I think that says. Is it? Am I reading that wrong?
Yeah, React.fc.
What you streaming with, guys? Luke, so this is a question from LinkedIn. We are streaming with StreamYard, and yeah, it's pretty handy. It just lets me throw links out to people, and sometimes I get kicked, and that's what's happening. It happened with Jay. You are witness to my disastrous, like, whenever I get kicked, then I had to start a new video. Absolute nightmare. So I took this cloud-based solution's way better, because even if I drop for a minute, the stream is still going. So yeah, it's much nicer.
Pretty nice.
I would like if I could do a bit more customization, like the mic delay. You know, I still feel like I'm like a few milliseconds out on the, my lips to sound. So they don't give you that yet.
Love it if there was, love it if I could do, use Restream, but.
To use which?
Restream, but you can't. So like for a couple of streams, I accidentally did the streaming to like Periscope and YouTube at the same time, and then Twitch by accident, because I didn't realize that you couldn't do that, but I was doing it. But if you could do all three, that would be awesome. But as soon as you hit affiliate on Twitch, it's like against the terms. But I didn't really notice until I did it, and then someone was like, oh, it's against the terms. I was like, oh, really?
And so annoying when you figure those kind of things out. because like I am streaming this to LinkedIn as well because I think there should be more coding on that. I want to get more people doing weird things on LinkedIn so it's a nicer place. I think too many people are afraid to look somewhat unprofessional, and I'm like, well, this is what I do, so I might as well stream it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to not do things like this on LinkedIn either. And Luke was saying that he uses it too and hasn't screen shared. Yeah, screen sharing is very handy on this, Luke. So yeah, it's definitely if you're doing things or you want to have multiple people, because you can have lots of people line up screens and everything else. It's great. And I got accepted for LinkedIn Live like 6 months ago, and they removed my privileges. Like the button went away, but for some reason I still don't have the LinkedIn Live button, but I can still stream from this. So even though I can't go live actually on LinkedIn, StreamYard is letting me go live for some reason.
It's all right.
This is one of those beta features, you have to request it. Okay, so
yeah, I was really into the idea of those multiple streaming like platforms until I found out that it doesn't allow it. But kind of makes sense, but because like I built up a bit of a thing on Twitch, it's like a bit. I can't just go, right, everyone, we're going to YouTube. Plus, it'll miss out like the interactivity of like the commands and stuff.
yeah, you could also like Jason does a lot of that. He cuts a lot of his stuff and throws it onto YouTube and other places, and even Egghead, doesn't he?
Mm.
He is the man for like milking content and getting every drop from it, I have to say. Like I really like how he does it, because he's not letting any of his work go to waste.
No. I think I've almost got it.
And yeah, Luke, I'm streaming to LinkedIn right now via StreamYard, so it's just sync up with your account and you'll be able to do it. 40 pixels, we'll say. It's only 10. I'm going crazy with this. 10 pixels. Okay. Oh, Praveen's helping out with the get initial props question. I forgot totally. I just kept reading rather than actually answering. I read the question aloud and just never like continued. I was like, yes, that's a question. What is it? How to use get initial props with TypeScript. Is get initial props work in functional components?
I thought that was like the one where you can do it is, well, I don't know. You'd have to really store to state or something.
Yeah, I thought that was I thought all those life cycles were gone with use effect in functional components.
Hmm. Right, I just need to remember which.
I'm still getting used to using, because I only started learning variables after your workshop, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
So I'm trying to use them everywhere. I'm butchering them and could be doing better. I'm still doing more duplicates than I have to. But yeah, awesome. I haven't used SCSS since I started using the variables. It's been awesome.
I think the most fun thing about them is that like when you deploy a site, people can just go in and change them.
Yeah.
I think it's really fun. So this should. Okay, cool. Sorry, I was just missing a property here, but I think I've worked it out.
Okay, that's that.
Yes. going to be pretty sweet. Pretty much done.
Nice. If I spell container right, I might actually get this to work. Nice. Okay. And I'm actually making some progress on my site while you're doing that, so it's probably good that you're thinking and we're not absolutely derailing everything.
It's not. Why is it doing that? It's kind of good. It needs a couple of kinks ironed out, but it'll give you the general idea.
What are you thinking?
Essentially, because you need to be able to repeat each one.
Yeah.
So there is some.
So I was just gonna like add in the code, like change the fill manually, like make 3 SVGs and change the fill.
Yeah, so I've kind of got something like that. But the thing I'm missing is how you would sort of like keep the loop continuous. So there'd have to be a little bit of thought about how that happens.
Oh, yes, I didn't think of that. That's back to our usual issue of that flash. I can put in confetti to distract people every time it's going to flash.
That's how I do it.
I'm watching Arrested Development at the moment. I don't know if you've ever watched it, and it's so stupid, but it's just so funny because one of the guys in it is a terrible magician, and that's the kind of thing he would do. What height are these cards? They are 394, is it? Okay, 400 pixels. Da-da-da. What do we think about the emergence of these visual programming platforms, no-code platforms? So this is a question. I wonder, can I show this on the stream? Can I? Show. Yeah. I forgot. This is way easier to show what's happening over on LinkedIn. What do we think about the emergence of visual programming platforms, like no-code platforms, to build sites and apps? What do you think, Jay?
I've not tried any yet. I'm interested by it.
Yeah, I'm interested in trying the Amazon one for sure.
I think it'd be really interesting to see what they're like.
Like, it's the same as a lot of things. Like, I know I'd probably be faster coding up a landing page in HTML and CSS than like learning a tool like Wix, personally, to get the exact thing I want. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be. Yeah. I just don't know if it's fine tuned enough, or you're able to tune them enough right now to get exactly like to build software rather than just websites and things.
There's a better way of doing this. Right, sorry, I was deep in thought. So in the time we've sat here, this is my first stab at it, but I know how to fix the other bit. I pinged you a link.
Okay, cool. Copy. Now let's see if I can even understand this black magic. Oh, that looks so cool.
But you'd play around with that a little bit more, and you'd be able to get it pretty much spot on. I know what the trick is. I need to duplicate the path, and then it work.
Oh, I see that little jump there.
Yeah, there's a little jump, and that's because I've not duplicated it. I'm just sort of translating by a random amount at the moment. But it would work, technically.
Technically.
Yeah, it just needs a little bit of fiddling, finagling. But yeah, that would allow you to just change a CSS variable and have the wave colors change. So like you can see I've done a HSL 00100. So if you just mess around with that, the waves and the footer would change. So I've just pinged this on a footer, but quite like this idea. I think I'm going to use it on my site just as the footer. I think it looks pretty rad.
Yeah, I like all these. Like, I like flowing shapes.
It completely goes against my normal aesthetic, but I just like it.
Yeah, exactly. Because you do tend to do like, which is really bizarre. Because like the funniest part about going to your old site, especially, is like you might as well just have like a notepad.
Yeah,
You know, it's so basic, and you're like, there's no way. Do you know the one nice part about that, Jay, is you were not going to get pigeonholed as a CSS guy from that website.
No, it's just straight to the point. There's nothing in it.
No, you're not getting pigeonholed on that site for sure.
The cool thing about that site is, though, that not a lot of people obviously ever see, is that if you disable JavaScript on that site, it still functions. So like the selector thing still works, and so does the light and dark mode.
Ah, so that's why is that why you went that route? Is just so it'd be actually.
I just wanted to change something because the last one I had was very like it looked like it had been designed by someone that knew nothing about design, which was true. So it needed a change up, and then I changed it to that, and I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to build something minimal and iterate. So that's what I did. I built that in like a day, just using Gatsby. I think over a weekend. So I used Gatsby, I built it, I deployed it, and then on the Sunday I added MDX and Storybook, and I messed around with the pure CSS version. But all it is the trick, like, and I think a lot of the time spent was actually messing around with Gatsby, because obviously it's the whole SSR kind of stuff. And when testing so like you'd have to build it, then run it, then disable JavaScript, then see it work, which was just an absolute pain. So there's a lot of like no script tags in there to like make certain things show and not show at certain points.
Yeah, that's because I don't know how I'd do a site without JavaScript anymore, really.
Yeah, I try.
But you're like, I have to say, like the variables, and I feel like this was stolen from you, because you told me about this, and then all of a sudden Ken C. Dodds tweeted about this, about using CSS variables as as a control mechanism.
Yeah, so, I pinged that to him.
Yeah, I knew it, because like I said, like, because he's like, this is how you should definitely do this thing. I was like, Jay said that. You've definitely stole that from Jay. Yeah, he told me that's how you should do it.
He put out a feeler for how are people doing dark mode.
Yeah.
And I pinged him my version saying, you could just control your whole dark mode with HSL and variables. Because that's how I do it with mine. So if you ever look at mine, it goes.
Do you have a tutorial on that?
I did a screencast on it. But it basically, on my site, it just goes from, if you ever watch the root variable, it just goes from 5 to 95 when you switch the dark mode, and then everything else is just a calc of the, so like all the text colors, everything just switches, which is how I'll keep it. But obviously I've got to put that new light bulb thing in, which is fun.
Yeah. I'm going to put this in as a div of wave container just so I can absolutely position it. I just thought on this, I have on here, I'm going to change the background color, but up here, I already have something that needs to be wavy. So I'm going to use this here.
There's a trick. So the trick that I haven't added in there is that what would be more ideal inside that SVG is to do a defs tag and then add a path to it.
What's a depth tag? Forgive me for my ignorance. I'm not too good with SVGs.
So inside defs, you can just do like random stuff like definitions for things like clip paths and styles. Like you can inline CSS inside a SVG and it works.
Yeah?
Yeah, which is how I do my GitHub profile. Because like I've got animated SVG on my GitHub, but it's run through. It's because the SVG I drop into the Markdown has inline CSS inside it, which is saved. But when you use it in an image, it will actually run, which is magical.
Yeah. I'm trying to I can't visualize what you're telling me because I've never used it.
Yeah, so what I've done is, so you know, like with the shades on the bear, although I'm redesigning the bear, but you know, like the bear has like the shine that goes across the shades.
Yeah.
That is a CSS translation of like a path that goes across a clip path. And all I'm doing is writing like a keyframes animation where it just does like translate by something like 274 pixels or something, whatever's the perfect size for inside the view box like coordinates. And then because it's inlined, I've done an inline style tag inside the SVG. When you save the SVG, if somebody else opens that in their browser, it will just work because the animation code has been inlined into the SVG.
Ah, okay.
And then you can just take that and drop it in your GitHub profile, and you'll have animations on there as well.
So, all right, I'm trying to figure that out now. So you need to so what do I need to do kind of then to stop this flash? You're saying add that in to.
Yeah. So this is the tricky part with this. I think what I would do. I would keep the overflow X, because what I've done here is I've done overflow.
Do you know what?
X.
I should probably get this working as is before I go off and say, now how do I make it more fantastic?
Well, I put overflow X on the body, and that's kind of how it'd have to be. Or you'd have to put a container inside.
Would I put overflow X on the section, or would I put it on the whole body?
Well, it's weird actually. I put it on the footer to start with, and
yeah, so the section,
and it broke it, which I didn't expect. So I did overflow X hidden on the footer, and it just wiped out the top of it as well, which I really didn't think would happen. You could also do like a clip path inset. You could do like -250 000. I think that would work. Yeah, that works fine.
Do we like the new Tailwind CSS version? Have you been using Tailwind at all? I just can't get my head around why I'd use it yet.
Yeah. Do you know what? I and ahed on this the other day. So I used it a bit when I was doing some of the Egghead Next work stuff, because they use Tailwind in their stack, and it is quite cool and it's good. Once you start using it, it's like, oh, this is easy. Like you just scaffold out everything. But when I was sitting there thinking, what am I going to use for styling on my new site? Because I've got these options again, and I was like, I could just use Tailwind because I've been using that and it was quite good. And then I was like, I don't know. It just feels like I'm bringing in everything when I don't need everything. And then I found an article that Chris had wrote, and it just basically said, if you can do it yourself, just do it yourself. If you can write plain CSS, write plain CSS. And I was like,
what have I done? Oh,
don't know,
it's
what have you
fixed,
done?
isn't it?
I can't see.
It's a bizarre effect I've just created.
Oh, it's beautiful. Though. It's beautiful.
I was like, what? This is what happens when you copy and paste code and just
Oh,
expect it to work.
So I think that's because position fixed. It looked great though. Oh, it looks
It
even
did.
better.
So
now. You need relative or absolute.
I'm gonna have to make all of the position relative.
That should have worked.
It should have.
How many? Yeah, that should have worked. Why has that not worked?
Save. Let me just I always do this. It's not working, but yet I feel like refresh will save my day.
I had this today. Have you ever done so it feels like every time I go to use this, it's changed because it's so long between how many times I do it, right? So have you ever done Android like Chrome debugging for a phone?
Oh, it's a nightmare.
So like I just have like spare handsets that I use for doing. So I've been testing out like interaction stuff with Framer today on this, and every time I go to do it, the process for doing it has changed. So like it used to be that there was a tab in developer tools. I don't know if you remember, and you can go.
Yeah, changed that recently.
You could go set up port forwarding. So I had the phone plugged in. I was like, cool, debugging set to go, and I'm looking around in DevTools. And I'm like, where the hell is the port forwarding UI? And now it's in a separate tab. And you have to go to like Chrome inspect devices, and then you control it from there. It's way better, but like it threw me for a second because I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. But it looks like it's improved so much because I was able to do like hot reloads to the phone without even having to refresh it. Like I just kept hard refreshing it because I was surprised it was happening so quick. So it was quite good.
No, I actually, because I've been telling you before, the thing I'm building right now, like, and I think the things I'm will you share the code pen? Jay, people are already asking for the 5-minute waves. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm showing it. I'm throwing it into the chat now.
Yeah, this is the private one. I haven't pushed a real one out. I will make an actual one.
What a random statement from Paul here. Did anyone else think Jay was going to be Canadian until they saw his streams?
I've had a lot of presumptions about what I'm going to be like. So like for those that don't know or didn't know me at that point, like I didn't even have my face on Twitter for like ages. So people were like just had all these wild assumptions about what I looked like or what I was like. And then they all got the shock. So,
you're not a bear at all.
Yeah.
So I figured out what went wrong a second ago.
Oh yeah.
I didn't. It's this. Actually, I need to change this as well. So class has to.
Oh, class name.
Become class name as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some weirdness around when you drop SVGs into React sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure, because it's gonna tell me like you didn't use this. You have to use the camel case everything.
Yeah, like it's when you do like xlink href or xmls. No, yeah, it is xlink. I think. I can't remember. It's one of them. It throws me every time.
So I'm going to just change this to background green
I have
for the moment.
I don't know even if it's the Queen's English. It's just the most monotone voice available. Like when you go into voice character selection, mine's just generic 1.
Okay, so look, it is actually working. We can't
sweet.
see it because
it's white.
The background, so I just need to push it up really. So I need the
position absolute at like top.
Yeah. So
bottom.
I need to put the container to be position. Oh, position. Can you absolute in an absolute? I've never done it, so I don't know.
Of course you can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have to ask that. I'm not sure because I don't usually go too out there.
You can inception the hell out of it.
All right.
Just always remember,
Cool.
like anything fixed or relative or absolute, they all work the same. So like fixed and absolute will work like relative. Fixed will take precedence, then absolute, then relative.
Say top. Oh no, it's top 0. I want it, or minus. How high is this?
If you did like a bottom, because you want it to be you want it to be above the top, right? So if you did like a bottom 95% or something, or you could do a calc or something just to make sure it's not right on the edge, because then it might leave a gap. So you could do like bottom 99%.
I should do here?
Huh?
Bottom 99%.
Yeah, something like that would make sure it's not leaving any gaps. Otherwise, you have to do like a little...
I get you. Yes. So yeah, because there usually is that little gap.
Yeah,
and I've seen
you don't want it to be perfect, just in case, like at certain viewports, it like bleeds a tiny line across. So you can either do it perfect and then use a pseudo element to like mask behind it, or you can just do like a slightly lower positioned.
Look at that now. That's pretty slick, in fairness. I need to change that background color so people can actually see how beautiful this really is.
Then you can scale the size of that as well and mess around with it. So like you could set it to like 20 VH and it'll be big.
So so you're
they're all the width. If you go up to like line 11, if you just change that to like 20 VH, you'll get like a bigger, more pronounced wave.
Well, that's pretty. It's really cool. I have to say, I really like that. I'm gonna probably put that at 15.
150.
So then
you won't see a thing. That's nice. But yeah, what I was gonna do next was, so like you see how they're all set to 10. Then you could just like scope the variable, have one at 8, one at 6, one at 10, and then you'll get them sort of overlapping.
So you're going to change.
Yes. Yeah, so if you set that to well, actually, you could leave that as height 15, but then on each of the waves, so you see where it's height 100, you could set that as like a variable.
I might as well ask you here. So am I allowed to do this? Can you just, I don't have the speed set in the root. Can I still set a variable like this?
Yeah, just leave it in the scope. The root doesn't care about it, so otherwise it's just
okay, that's been holding me back ages. I've been always just going into the main CSS, and that's been really like
co-locate
annoying me.
Otherwise you'll have a nightmare trying. The only time it will catch you out is if later on down the line you're like, I want to change it from somewhere else, and you're like, where was it? But you can always just grab the actual element.
Yeah, so obviously because this is a wave container, I need to go into the scope of the wave.
Yeah, I mean, you could set it from the wave container. What I tend to do is if I have like, it depends if I'm nesting something, and it's probably a bad habit, but I would have like a class wave, and then I'd use BEM or something and do like __ container, but I'd set everything from the top of the container maybe, so it all scopes down. But yeah, you could do that, and then you could just set wave heights of like whatever you wanted beneath. So like the initial one will be 15, and then type 2 could be like 8, and then I don't know, the third one could be 12, and then they'd be pretty different. But then you could take it even further, and you could start doing things like skew X, skew Y, and really like messing with it. It opens up a bunch of
skew X and skew Y. What's skew do? Is that like going to just turn it like?
Yeah, so because obviously this is doing an animation now where it just transforms, like it just sort of translates across. So you might want to change the opacities on them. I think you want to put the opacities around the other way. I think the third one is bigger, so it's hiding the other one completely.
Oh yeah, okay. So I probably want.
I think the opacity, if you go down, I set the opacity like explicitly on 2 and 3. But if you change that so that 3 is 1, and then you could leave that one, but just set waivers in general to opacity 0.25, and then you should see them all. So obviously, it works similar to like stacking. So, well, it does work. It's Z indexing. You should see them all.
Yeah, what I need to do is change that background color because that's outrageous, really. Here, we can't really see that. What? Like this is just because I started this with the boilerplate stuff for Next.js, and I worked from there. So there was just stuff in it, and I was
Mine's
just like, okay,
an absolute like. There's just no design to it at the moment because I've been building the stack up. So I managed to. I'm pretty proud of it actually, because although no one's probably ever going to see it until I write about it, but I managed to use MDX in Storybook to pump out HTML blocks of the things I'm making for my 11T site. So it's pretty cool. So I'm able to do like variations. So like in my MDX, I can basically write like, here's some attributes, pump it onto this markup and create a story. And I can just write loads of variations. I just write like plain HTML attributes and it just puts them in it. I'm quite happy with it. Because I didn't know how it was going to work. Because obviously I'm not using React. I'm just using plain I'm using Pug and Stylus. So
right, I'm gonna change this to pink so we can see this.
I'm creating the JStack. That's basically what I'm creating.
Look at this.
That's cool. Yeah, I think you probably need to mess around with the opacities a bit. I feel like they're not stacked the right way or something. Something's not quite right.
It's probably just sizing. Let me play around with sizing.
The third one's high, isn't it? The third one's the biggest one. So make the third one the smallest one. Make the third one like 5, then 8, then 10 or something. There you go. That's
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna raise it a little bit. So even 7. That's pretty slick, isn't it?
It looks good with the pink, actually. I quite like the pink.
Yeah, so that's the Kodu pink that I always use on everything. That's for this. So that's what will be there, and that's why I said I'll try it, because in here, if you look, I know it's going to be like here.
That pink's pretty hot by itself.
Yeah, I'll send you it so you can steal it.
Cool.
I actually have this whole site up. I push it up every week so people can steal it.
Do you know what I actually love? Netlify CI. CLI. It's just the best tool. So like when I'm working on the site and I'm like, I wonder how this will do in Lighthouse. Literally just go Netlify deploy, and it just 2 seconds gives me a deploy link preview. There it is.
Yeah. I have to say, I'm using that for I'm using Vercel, which does very similar in fairness.
Yeah, I freaking love that. Like,
the new thing, and I'm paid for it. I haven't tried it yet. Like, I've literally paid for it and not installed it. Right? Is the Vercel have brought out a new like lighthouse based on the people visiting your site.
Oh, that's cool.
So like they do the performance metrics on actual visitors. So it's so cool. They just released that like 3 weeks ago.
Talking about
yeah,
things you buy and don't use. I've got a Logitech MX Master 3 in a box that's been there for about 6 months.
Oh my god.
It's just chilling. Still got the 2. Still got the broken 2 right here that's like worn. You can even see that on the camera.
Yeah, even in the small camera we can see that.
Yeah, it's terrible. Every time I do a project, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna change my mouse at the end of this project. I'm gonna treat myself, and I never do.
Yeah, it's always the way. Right, let's see. So this is working, and you are, yeah. What? It's not even that noticeable, really. That flash.
No, it's nice. I mean, you could just set that to like 60 seconds. And
hold on.
See it. So this is where you're going to need the overflow.
Okay, yeah, I'm like, I just accidentally scrolled by accident. Like I said, I just went, whoops. So people can see what's actually going on here. This is how long this is. This is slowly moving over.
They'll never see it.
Yeah. This is behind the scenes. Behind the scenes.
No one scrolls. No one scrolls right.
Except for me right there. If you have a magic mouse, you just do it accidentally.
There's a few ways around that. You could do like a clip path. Or
Overflow X, isn't it? Hidden?
Yeah, you can do overflow X hidden, but that was
Oh.
breaking it. And I don't know why it's breaking it. I think it's Y. Maybe do Y. No,
Oh.
I don't know why X doesn't work. That seems really strange. But if you do a clip path inset, there's a trick for you. Until I work out how to make it nice.
What is it? Clip path?
Yeah, if you do clip path and then do inset,
Yeah.
and then do minus like 250%.
250%.
Yeah. And then do...
Where is this maths coming out from?
Oh,
Because
you're not done yet either. Go back in there.
Okay.
And then do space 0 space 0 space 0. There you go. Now you're done.
What's this mean? I've
Right,
never used a clip path inset.
This is why I need to finish my site so I can start writing things up.
Hey, this doesn't fix anything.
Did it not fix it? Go back.
No, look.
Yeah, but it's not
It
overflowing.
stops
anymore,
it.
is it? I don't know why. That's something else. Have you got something else lower down?
No, what I reckon I have to do, just put in the main is the overflow X is hidden then.
Yeah, that should be working though, because it wasn't actually... Although, I guess... It could be. This is why I need to play with it, because I think...
Yeah, so now it's working because
I think
the
that's
body's overflow X is hidden.
I think a better solution for this is going to be to do inline the waves into the SVG and have the waves just do their own thing, and then you just drop CSS variables into the SVG. I think that's the cleanest way to do this. You could just create 3 PNGs or a PNG and scale it and use it as a background image, and then just like move the background image. That's another way of doing it. That's probably the easiest way of doing it, because then you can use background image repeat if you want to do something really quick. But background position isn't great for animating. It's okay, but it's not as good as... So if I look at it, yeah, changing background position doesn't trigger any geometry changes, but since it's a visual property, it causes extra paints. So,
Yeah.
And it's typically super expensive.
So where is this clip? Like, I didn't get to answer this.
So I can
Where,
tell you what clip path is, although it's probably not the solution we want to go with. But
no,
if you
in fact,
imagine-
I'm just wondering if I do this now, does it break? No, it's like, see, that's it fixed as well without using that.
Yeah, it just means you got overflow X. If you ever do want to do any overflow, then you're
I'm screwed.
But I can tell you what that was doing, so you know for future reference if you ever need to do anything like that. If you need to hide something, it's quite handy.
Yeah, because I've used clip path for text, all right, to make like weird, funky text, but I've never used the inset rule.
Well, if you take like, always looking for props, right? So if you take an envelope and fold it in half, and that gives you a square. If that was your element, and clip path allows you to do different things, so you can have circle. I think you can have circle, and you can have polygon. Polygon just gives you XY coordinates. You can map it all out and do whatever you want with it. And then circle is just a circle at a position, and you give it a %. And you can do ellipse as well. But inset is the easiest one. So what it is, inset counts for top, right, bottom. This is the left, I think, but I'm looking at myself, so it looks like I'm doing the right. So if you did inset 0, 0, 0, it would just think it's 0, 0, 0, and it would be like nothing could go outside of it. But if you did inset like 50%, 0, 0, it would actually cut it in half, because you'd be saying, right, inset 50% from the top, but 0 from the right, bottom, and left. But what we're saying is 0, 0, 0 minus 250. Don't let anything come out the sides, but let it come out the top and not the bottom. So it's a way of kind of doing like, it's kind of like a superpower of overflow where you'd be able to say overflow x1, overflow x2. Like
So you could use this in elements to create.
Yeah, so like if you want to clip something particular where you just want to hide a section of it or like clip it in half, you can do it like that. And that's a little trick. So like one trick I'd use quite often if I wanted to just cut something in half, like I'd just do insert 50% 000 and just cut the top off, or like do it.
That makes sense.
So it's a really easy way to make a semicircle if you wanted to, because you can just cut the bottom off. Obviously, you could just use a radial
so
gradient.
this is where it comes in. Is you've been using this obviously to do a lot of your fancy shapes? Is it for?
Yeah, you can do it for that. The other way would be radial gradient with the right positioning, and then make a paper airplane or do a magic. I don't know if I've got any magic tricks.
No, he thought you were going to do one though with that. Bring up this, and now you have a CSS. Poof, as I always say, like it's. You go. Oh, look together.
I had a magic set when I was younger. We were watching.
I used to love magic when I was younger.
We were watching the, like Penn and Teller's Fool Us. You ever watched that?
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
So I think it was Marvin's magic set that I had when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's the one. And you
had a little plastic hat with the little trap door.
Yeah, a little piece of everything. So like, did you have?
They're still selling that set. I seen it in Tesco's the other day.
The big string and like the rings. The rings was always one.
The pins, so you could tell what pin you were holding because they had a slight bend on them.
Yeah, they're so good to think about stuff like that.
Right, last question for you, Jay. Sorry, and we'll go back to magic after I ask this because I just want to have this in your back of your head while you're talking about magic here as well.
There's always stuff in the back of my head.
Yeah, I want to ask you what exactly. What is going off here? I probably have some more SVG stuff. No, I'll probably know you next week. We'll do this next week. We'll figure out about this Flash. We might have a discussion offline on a best way to do this.
Working with now, the fact is, what is it doing when you load? Is it flashing?
So right now you'll see it jumps.
Oh, the jump. Yeah, I know how I'm going to fix that. I already worked it out. I just need to write it. It takes time. Maybe
that's all right.
Maybe I'll stream it after this because I meant to be on my stream now, but I just derailed you.
Oh, okay. Well, I meant to be probably, having dinner as well. So
yeah.
What were you saying on the magic front? We were saying you remember when the.
Oh, I always like those ones, where like remember the ones that people do at school, like. Oh, take a pencil and just like wave it funny, and it looks like.
Oh yeah.
That's a classic. That is an absolute classic.
Yeah. Yeah, or your thumb. I'm actually ruining it now, but I can't remember how I pretend I took my thumb. Unbelievable. We were easily amused. Now I have to say that's actually something I'd love to pick up again. The Marvin's magic set.
I think you should do it. I think you should
stream it. Me being Marvin's magician for a day.
I keep meaning to stream Lego. That's something I want to do.
Oh yeah.
I've got a Lego Mustang to build.
Oh gee. Paul, for God's sake. Not even gonna comment. So just leave that out there.
Learning the wrong tricks.
Yeah, Lego actually, that'd be a good one. I have been looking at the Lego Millennium Falcon. In fairness.
Oh, I bet that'd be fantastic. I didn't really. So I was very fortunate that I was gifted this. I've still not opened it. This is next level.
Nice. We've talked about this before offline. That we both want Mustangs.
Yeah. That is next.
Did you see the new Mustangs that they've just brought out as well?
No, I don't dare look at the moment.
No, they've brought out an even nicer one this year.
Do you see the
Go
SUV
Google
one?
an SUV
weird.
Mustang.
Have you not seen that one? That is weird. I don't
No.
know about that. I'm not sure about it.
No, I don't know how I'd feel about an SUV Mustang. I think SUVs, especially look, my car's an MX-5, right? So it'd be a big step up to try and get me to get from an MX-5 to an SUV.
Yeah, mine just caught. My car, I have to like jump it all the time at the moment. It does my head because I never use it, and then I don't know if you ever have that. You probably use yours more, but
Yeah, I use mine maybe once a month now at this stage, so it's not that much with everything else.
yeah,
That'll take some effort to build. Yeah, when are you going to stream building that, Jay? I'm gonna end the stream before it goes on way too long of us just talking like this. Like this is absolute nonsense for anyone that's streaming. This is just what talking about like how we're going to build deadly Lego sets.
people like relatable content, right? People like to.
That's
see
true, actually.
People beating people.
So, yeah, when are you going to build it? Are you going to do it on stream?
Yeah, I'm gonna start. My current gig ends at the start of December, so
Nice.
and I'm hoping to take some time. You say that, but you know, like there's always scope creep. I just know there's going to be extras.
Yeah. No, I'm the same. I have a new gig starting in January as well, so I like desperately need some downtime over the next few weeks as well. Because I know I'm going to be up the wall. It's going to be outrageous.
That's a good comment from Paul there. The Friday Night BS, the business site. But
The Friday. Yeah, no. In fairness, Paul usually comes to just say like, drink more, do more, do be worse, be a worse person. That's what Paul comes along to say.
Maybe we should.
And I appreciate it.
We should just do a duo stream where we just do like just chatting. That should be our thing.
I absolutely agree, and we've been talking about this before.
We should do it.
That we should definitely do it. Just a nonsense tech talk style thing where it mightn't even. This week we started talking about CSS and ended up talking about Lego.
Yeah, we could easily do something like let's make us something, and we'll just casually make it and derail ourselves talking about magic tricks.
For sure, it could last hours. That's the unfortunate part. Like, this is a simple to-do app. 6 hours later, it's still getting on the button working. Did you see this other link?
Always the way. Yeah, I do. I just see. I got myself in two places, but yeah, I do. I was, and then Niall pushed me back into to take the leap again. He was one of the contributing factors to giving me the confidence to do it again.
No, it's for sure. It's a smart move. It's also like there is those moments, especially in the contracting world, when you feel it's a good thing to have doubt every so often. I think to feel uncomfortable because you're not growing if you're comfortable. As I said, like it's even we talked about it as well, where you dislike just being known as CSS, and you do want to show more of your practical side, I guess.
I'm not really doing
but the practical side of your skill set as well, like as in you're an unbelievable JavaScript developer as well. So it's about showing off that stuff. Exactly, Paul. Don't talk to me for too long, or you'll end up like a glorified unemployed person like myself and Jay.
Well, it's kind of strange because obviously, yeah, we like. Well, there's no point in hiding it. We talked about it for ages, and I was like, I'm gonna go freelance, I'm gonna go contract again, and I just eventually did it. And I was like, like, what's it gonna be like? Am I gonna be? I've been fine. Like, I haven't even looked for work. In the end, the work just came to me, which is a real bonus. But I obviously have the bonus of the fact I've been doing this 10 years and people kind of know my stuff. I would not like. I don't really want to talk about it, but I see a lot of people at the moment. There's obviously a lot of stuff going online that people like outraged about people saying they got a job and it was easy for them and stuff. And it's like, I would hate to be starting now. I would say that.
Oh yeah, It's way different. And
I feel
I
horrible.
found it difficult. Like when I started, I had a terrible time. Like I failed like 50 interviews.
I feel horrible though, saying like, oh, like the work's finding me at the moment, but like I've been doing this 10 years. People know my work. They come and find me because they know I can do stuff for them. But it's like
the first job's the
at same
hardest,
time, you feel
for sure.
bad.
Yeah,
But
but
it's
the first
even
job is the hardest.
I think I don't know, like it's different at the moment as well because obviously everyone's locked down. But I've definitely been one of those people that I've kind of lucked out and I've been in the right place at the right time, or I've done the right thing, and it's not even luck, I guess. It's just if you work hard, you just don't appreciate the fact that you actually did work really hard to do the stuff you're doing. But like my first role was very fortunate that I grafted hard on a project, and someone just happened to see that project and was like, "Oh, we're taking this over as an actual thing. Would you come and work with us?"
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, brilliant. That worked out all right." But then the flip side of it is when I first did contracting, I had nothing for like months. So it works both ways.
That's what I often say. So like two things on that. Like when I couldn't get a job initially, I really couldn't. Like I was passing technical interviews and people said, you know what, you're good enough, but you don't have the experience, so we're not going to hire you. So I actually registered my own business, and I had already got a portfolio. So now I just said, well, I had my own business, and apparently just by registering my own business, they took me more seriously.
I always found that weird as well. Like, I don't know, like the contracting market is always, to me, it's felt like, because it's such a quicker thing, right? So like you can just say, I'm available, and people will be like, yep, cool. Can you, I don't know, write some React? Oh, brilliant, cool. Start Monday. Because there's no risk for them. They can just be like, do you know what, you're rubbish. See you later. Because they just have you like on a 1-day notice for contracting. There's not as much risk, so it's okay.
And if you're good at negotiating, you can get that to 30 days, and then it's just like being permanent, really, except you get paid more.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. But yeah, I feel for people trying to look at the moment. I can't imagine what it's like. It's probably
Paul's going to be fine, apparently, because he's got the soft skills and a charming person. So that'll help him. No, for sure. Soft skills are super underrated as well in the industry. I think a lot of people don't realize how quickly you'll climb by just being a decent person and having some compassion when you're in an interview, and just being like trying to get along on a friend-to-friend level as well in interviews. It really helps. My goal whenever I used to go into interviews was, right, I never thought I was going to get the job. After like 30 interviews, I always thought I was going to lose anyway. So I just like, I went in with the attitude, I was going to fail anyway, so let's try get a little bit further, and let's also try and make that person laugh. Okay, so I literally was like, try tell a terrible joke in the middle of the interview and try make them laugh. Most of the time I also failed at that, but the times I got further, I did make them laugh properly.
I think with me, like I just so like I said, I was very fortunate. I got my first role. I kind of like it transitioned into it from the like project I was doing at university, so that worked out all right. But that was for middleware engineering, and when I left, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, apart from I did some front end and I liked it, and I didn't find anything straight away. And where I am, there's not a lot of stuff around, and remote wasn't much of a thing. Although my first role was remote, but yeah, like when I found that, I was like, oh, thankfully, like after these things, I found something, and I found something else. But my first contract role, it actually took me ages to find something that I wanted to do and that I got onto. That was really interesting. But then after that, it's really weird with contracting. I don't know if you find it, like you can go through patches and then all of a sudden everyone wants a piece. Like it's
like right now is like an example of, I know a lot of people are struggling simply because businesses are afraid to pay for people at the moment. So right now, unless you're very well known, it's very hard. Like again, like I'm probably busier than I've ever been, because people are really willing to make sure they're not picking the wrong people right now.
Yeah,
they just don't want to take a risk. So like I feel like right now, in this specific moment in time with COVID and everything else, it would be next to impossible to get your first job, which is like a horrible thing to say, but like companies are just really struggling to take risks on people, and that's why I'd even err on the side of caution and say lie a little and you know, beef up your experience. I've said it to people often. I said, look, if you're good enough to get by, like if you can prove you're technically competent enough and you have the work to show, and you've done that yourself, and you've built some stuff on the side, like that's what I did personally. Is I built some websites for people out of my beer club. So I had what was real work that I got paid some cash. Like if you're able to do that, there's no reason you shouldn't be getting an actual job from it. But you know, you might get like I said, right now I think you have to beef yourself up. If you're any bit modest in the current market, I think you will just be an uneasy bet for a company.
I don't know. I'm impartial on opinion because I have no idea because I never look. But from what I see, yeah, I just don't know. I would hate, like I say, I'd hate to be doing it now because it seems like when I don't know, like now it just seems like you're expected to know a lot out the gate, like
everything.
You've never done React before, like what? And it's like,
yeah,
wow. Like, I remember when React came out, and I was just like, right, I'll just learn that on the go. Like it's just not. Yeah, it's really strange.
No, it's a difficult place. That technology landscape's changing big. But Paul, you don't worry about you. Just you. You're all right. You, as you said, you have. Well, that's one way of doing it.
There are definitely people looking for developers, though. There are a lot of people.
No, absolutely, there is out there. But I do feel bad for anyone that's like looking to land their first job. There is a lot of people, like I see even MongoDB just opened up their internship, and they're not paying badly. And the only reason I know that is my girlfriend's a technical recruiter for MongoDB, so I see a lot of companies are still moving. It is definitely way more difficult at the moment, though. There's no way of nicely putting it. If you get a job in the current market, you should give yourself a big pat on the back, because without having, like I said, yourself and myself have marketed ourselves way more than most people should ever need to at all. Okay, and
yeah,
that's
like,
why.
I think back to like when I didn't bother. I didn't even have a site of my own until like way into my career.
Yeah.
That kind of shows you.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I was baptism by fire for myself. My very first job, within 9 months, I'd worked on 5 different global companies, you know. Like I'd worked for Vodafone Italy, Vodafone UK. I was flown over to Optus in Australia. I was working with an Israeli company, a little bit of AT&T, 3 Ireland, all in the first 9 months. So it was baptism by fire. So then as soon as I left that job, I suddenly was like, well, I've worked for all these people, you know? And then it was a lot easier, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't even know. I just keep myself so busy that I don't think about it, I think, wow, like it's actually been quite a journey.
Yeah. We should talk about that. You know what? Let's set up a stream shortly where we just talk about how we started and things, and even like let's try get some people that are new and find out their struggles as well. I'd like to actually hear in the chat like what's different now.
You know what? I think that's half like. I actually think that's half the battle. I think it's hard. Like so, some people, because Twitter's like the worst place to see this, but some people are saying things like, oh, this isn't fair, and then other people are chiming in saying it, but it's impossible for that person chiming in to say calm down to relate to what is going on. Because like you can't, like a person that's been doing this 10 years can not even understand what it's like to be starting now. You just can't. Like that's just it.
Yeah.
Like it would be so overwhelming if you were like, I can't imagine what it's like to open up something and go and
and that's why I'd love to even get on like somebody that's hiring right now and see what kind of things they're asking, or even like asking people what they've been asked. You know, where have they, like, what's the reasons they've been rejected? Because I also see from certain people where, you know, they're saying it's discrimination or whatever else as well, which is obviously for obvious reasons. It's not something we'll ever face really. And again, that's another thing. You don't notice the doors that are already open for you ever. So, like, it's not like, you know what, you just assume the door wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, like that's because that's in genuinely when you look at these things, it's like it's hard to imagine a door that you've never seen. And that's why the only way I explain that kind of thing, because as I said, I'm saying this is what people say, but again, it's not something I ever face. So I'd love to hear from other people that have struggled with that kind of area as well, just for my own personal education as well, because as I said, I feel a bit ignorant to it as well. I said, again, similar to yourself, I feel like good timing. Yeah, no prejudice unless they don't like face fluff. Yeah, that's the only time we're going to get it.
I don't know about you, but whenever I meet people, like if people approach me and say like, oh, would you be interested in checking this out or something, and I'll be like, and if I'm up for it and I'm really fussy, I'll be like, okay, cool, I'll come on a call. And then there's no like, this is what I'll be like.
Yeah.
I'll wear a hat, I'll have sleeves, I'll have a baseball cap on. I pretty much just, this is what you get.
Yeah.
I never hide any of that.
No, I think I've been more that way now lately. I'd say the last 2-3 years, I've started saying, this is what you're going to get. But again, you can't do that when you're starting either, can you? You can't just be like...
And I think that's what's
we're
wrong.
being a bit obnoxious as well. We're like, how far can we push the lines because we know we're going to be unemployed?
Well, I think that's what's wrong with how it's gone, right? So that's kind of like, it's one reason why I do it. And it's not out of choice. It's just, well, it is out of choice. It's because that's how I'm comfortable and that's how I like to be. I worked for a big corporate, thought it was brilliant, but instantly found out I hated corporate environments because I had to wear like a shirt, a tie, you know, trousers. And can you imagine me wearing that and developing every day? No, it just
I think you'd look adorable. Don't worry.
Yeah, I hate.
You'd look like you were making your communion or whatever.
Yeah, and I absolutely hated it, and it's just not me. And like my previous role, I'd be like, cool, and pretty much turn up in my pajamas and just chill and code at my desk or whatever. And that's just kind of how I've always been. Because I kind of push that and see like, if someone's bothered about that, then are they really sort of taking your skills? Are they taking your skills into account, or are they just looking for someone to tick the box? Yeah. In terms of,
especially when developers aren't usually customer facing, so there's absolutely zero reason to make them dress well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like as said, like I remember when I worked in Bank of America, that was semi-casual dress, but I remember when they like the CEO was visiting, they were like, please dress nicely for just one day so it looks like we're a professional operation.
Which one did you?
I was like, that's fair. What?
Did you ever go to Canary Wharf for that?
No.
So I did some stuff with, well, that was part of like you did like these summer projects when I was doing my degree, and mine was at Bank of America, which is really cool.
Nice. I've met some great developers through there, especially the juniors. Like there's some great they get some awesome juniors. Their seniors not so good. Their juniors excellent. They actually find really good young talent. I don't know what they've done with the senior talent, because the senior talent is actually pretty poor.
They pinch it all from the universities around by there. Yeah, I imagine.
Because same here in Ireland. Like I've met some of my best colleagues and people I've hired for other teams. Through, like I said, there's a friend of mine now, Michael Dalton, who was like a grad hire out of Bank of America when I was there, who I immediately snapped up in my last job to be part of the front end team as well, because he was phenomenal. I say he was the only junior or intern, I don't know what you'd call it, grad hire on a senior team, and he was just as good as anyone else. You know, so phenomenal. Yeah.
I think that's a good thing though, right? When you do like working with, I found that a lot with contracting. Like you work with someone, and they are really good at something, and you're like, oh, I haven't really used this yet. This is what I was like when I was starting. I find it more on the other side now because I'm easily able to pick things up and stuff. But when I was starting out, I'd be like, someone would be using this, and they'd be like, oh no, what are you doing? And I'd be like, oh, now I've got to skill up in this big time and just be able to just walk in here and be like, I know everything. And I think that's one thing that contracting kind of does for you, because you're surrounded by people that are really good and you kind of have to up your game a bit. I don't know if that's how you ever feel, but
Yeah, definitely. Imposter syndrome creeped in massively when I got my first contract gig, because I was like, I'm getting paid. It was over double.
Yeah.
I was over double my last wage. Like I went from like 40 grand to over 100 grand in like a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
so I turned up in a 3-piece suit, right? No joking. 3-piece suit. And I was like, I'm here to code. You know?
I completely empathize with that one, because I had the same sort of thing. So the first few contract roles, I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, am I out of my depth here? And I'd just be like, cool. I'm just going to crack on with this. I'll just learn it. Like I see that question pop up about React to Angular. I did a couple of Angular things, and then I had never done any real work with it. And then I did a major like contract in it, having not used it loads. And then it was just like, hey, make the entire front end for this. And like, off I went. And it was the same with like React. I did a React contract. It was like very early days. It was like, cool, I'll give it a go. And then you just keep going. And as long as no one says, right, we don't want you tomorrow, like you just keep skilling up and skilling up. To prepare for
that's all you can do. Again, like it's definitely not a React or Angular, especially if you're a freelancer or a contractor. It's definitely a case of, well, how much are you going to pay me? So
it just seems like React just has like market share, isn't it? Like that's pretty much it. Like you can pretty much bet that most things are going to be like, oh, like they almost like take React as a given that you're going to have it in your toolkit.
It's like, okay, so yeah, again, as said, I was interviewing somebody earlier on today. He was an Angular developer. So I thought I was going to throw him by giving him a React piece to solve. And he's like, oh, well, I obviously do React on the side as well. And I was like, well, this defeats the purpose. You know?
Whereas it's funny, 'cause although I've written a tiny bit of Angular since it converted, I knew Angular 1.x or Angular JS. I know nothing of the newer Angulars. I couldn't tell you anything.
I don't either. I did Angular JS, then React.
Yeah, same transition. I'd be fine.
That was mine. Like I was doing PHP before Angular JS, so it was PHP, Angular JS, then React since version 0 point something.
Angular JS, then I did React, Angular JS, then back to React. Did a bit of Preact or whatever the other one was, and then just full on React. And I've done a bit of Vue on the side here and there, and that's
nice.
And React Native, obviously, but I just merged the two as one, I think.
Yeah, I do the same. Like I'm working React Native most days, but I still just call it React because other than which really frustrates me, they're flex, because I already get confused with justify content and the line items, right, and the column rows. That's the only thing I dislike about React Native, in fairness. So yeah, I've just started React. Stop gatekeeping. What are we gatekeeping, Paul? We're saying you're guaranteed a job if you learned React. That's all we're saying. Go, you're fine.
Yeah, it's such a I don't know. Yeah, React. I think.
No, I can't even say that. Guaranteed a job, because, like as I said, I see so many people suffering. It's a tough market. I think we should probably do a proper stream where we talk about experience or what we think set us ahead in our process.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to see, or just to hear, because obviously like stuff just gets blown out of proportion online. Like people write.
I'd love to hear. Like I'd love to like see that. I'd love to even help people with their and this wouldn't be a public thing as well, but I would absolutely 100% love to help people that are struggling with interviews, who have failed a bunch of interviews, and just help them with mock interviews or whatever else, because I am hiring people all the time. I know what I'm asking, and I know why I reject people.
Yeah, 'cause it's such a weird. I don't know. Like it's so hard to relate to, because obviously, like I said before, we started way earlier.
Yeah.
So you already have, like, it feels weird. It feels like, unless you're going for like a full-time role, but once you've sort of hit X amount of years, people just kind of like, I don't know. It's almost as if they're just like, "Yep, cool. You've kept up. Yep, cool. We'll have you."
Yeah.
Like,
That's it.
It's really strange, but
It
that's
is.
kind of
It's
what happens.
bizarre.
Like, you just have a call and it'll be like 20 minutes, and then they'll be like, "Yeah, cool. That was great." Because you've done like, as opposed to like a full-time role, there's more investment from both sides. They want to make sure you're actually going to stick around, and there's more.
But that's as a contractor as well. It's also, like I said, like a normal interview might be 3, 4, 5 interviews. Contractor, they see you for a half hour and they go, "Oh, so you've built this? Okay, you're in." And that's why I often tell people as well is, again, as I said, if you can bulk up your experience and get a contract or something like that, you're probably going to be an easier interview, because they're just like, "We have a job to be done. Can you do this job?"
And I'd say now, especially like with like a lot of it's remote, so you can just ping people, and like, so the way I used to get my contracts, and I'd go times where I wouldn't have anything, so I'd just hold out for like contracting roles. Hacker News do threads every month.
Yeah.
And I would just post my details in there and see what came back.
Wow, that's smart.
Yeah.
We think that's another thing we should do. You know what? I'm going to write some notes here. We're going to talk about hacks to find even just odd jobs.
Yeah, that was like, and honestly, the first round of contracting I did, like, that is the solid, probably where most of my stuff come from.
That'd be a good little chat. We should do an hour even talking about that, because I have a few of those kind of things, like where I find most of my work as well.
Yeah, it's really bizarre, and people never seem to have heard of it, but it's...
No, I've never heard of that. That's really cool. That's why I'm like literally writing it down. I'm like, that's so smart.
I'll ping you some links, because every month they do it. They have 3 threads. They have freelancer seeking freelancer, who wants to be hired, and who's hiring. And they do it every month. And like, so many companies just ping in there like, "Oh, we're looking for this, this, and this, paying this. Like, send us your details, email this address." Or like, you literally just drop your details into the freelancer seeking freelancer, say whether you want remote or where you're located, what skills you have, what you're looking for, and then just wait and see if people reply or ping you. You just leave an email address.
Yeah, I just see the comment there from Paul there saying, like, "Do you think freelancing as a newbie is sustainable?" I don't think so.
You don't think so? I think
I don't think so. For one reason, unless right here, I'm going to put a caveat here. Why I wouldn't have been able to do it is because I genuinely had no developers around me. Okay, so I didn't know how to learn or what to learn or have any benchmarking things. I think if you're in a good community of developers and you know who to talk to and can ask questions, then you know what, absolutely. But I know for me personally, when I was starting out, I literally, until I got my first permanent job, knew 0 developers. So
yeah, I still don't really know any physically that I can just go and say hey to. But I know people like you and that, which is good. I can ping. But I never really, until like this year, I barely ever pinged anyone or spoke to anyone.
That's interesting, because it's complete opposite. I would be like my biggest bit of advice for people, especially if you're doing that, would be go find somebody you can lean on. Go find somebody that you can just ask those questions for when you're stuck, because my other bit of advice to people to like get up the ranks faster is to bite off more than you can chew and figure it out.
Oh yeah, I'm a big culprit for that. I do that all the time. Yeah. But that's probably how it's worked out for me, because I've not had anyone to lean on. Then I bite off more, like, and then I have to work it out. Like, there's no Otherwise, I'm not paying the bills. So
No, totally agree. Totally agree. Right, Jay, I'm just looking at the time here. I was meant to have dinner, and I'm going to be in trouble. I was meant to have dinner about 50 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, same. I was gonna start streaming an hour ago.
Right. Let's cut this broadcast here. We're gonna have a chat offline, and we're gonna talk about having a couple of things. I'll jump on your stream, or you can jump on mine. We'll rotate, and we'll get some discussions going.
We'll just set something up. We'll just create another thing. Why not?
Yeah, sounds great. Look, people are here watching this in the chat still. You've just watched us agree, or it's cemented. This is a contract now that we're going to build something new together. All right. And I've just seen one last comment before I turn this off. What kind of websites can I sell on Flippa? I've never heard of Flippa.
No, I've not heard of.
Have you heard of Flippa?
Like Fiverr?
I'm not sure. But yeah. Jump into the Discord if you have any questions. We have the Kodu community Discord. Paul is always there to welcome you in and give you terrible advice.
Because I don't even know what that is.
The what? Flippa?
No, the Discord.
Oh, you didn't know the Discord that I have?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So we have about 600 people. All right, hold on. Let me throw it into the chat. Anyone that stayed in the chat this long has probably deserved an invite to this.
I just use my direct line.
Yeah, that's true. Because people in my Discord have asked for your Discord, and I've said I'm not giving out people's details. Like, it's just not something I'll do. There is the Discord. Join us. There's always nonsense going on. So, yeah. Until next time, see you later.
That's good.
Yeah, it's not too bad. See you later, guys.
Yeah, you've got